Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this video found you, it's because there's a sign here in this message. There's a symbol or a word, a feeling that is meant to reach you in this moment. I'm gonna do a quick tarot session, but what wanted to come through today was the Hermit. I was guided to show up with the Hermit as general energy, and the message was very clear. Conceive what is possible and not what has been. So there is so much that is changing right now, and especially in this time where AI is just taking over, people are craving vulnerability. People are craving real interaction. And today, the message that came through me is very real and very powerful. And it is about what is possible for you. To really embody the Hermit in that way that we are using the lantern, this healing light, to guide the way, to show us what is our next step, and to let go of the past and how we perceive it, because anything is possible. So there's a message here for you. Two of Pentacles. What's coming through with the Two of Pentacles, and it's something that someone needs to hear out there. To work on yourself is to stop waiting for others to change. So there's the recognition here that you're ready to do things differently. And how I perceive the Two of Pentacles in my own personal journey with the tarot and with healing and evolution is that it shows us how ridiculous we can look when we're trying to do everything, when we're trying to quantify everything that we do. And this is one of the big lessons of the Hermit. The Hermit is going to be our card for the year 2025. And it really is about letting go of perfectionism. How can we be consistent? How can we be intentional with what we do instead of obsessing over doing everything? Or again, reaching quote unquote perfection, which does not exist. We all know that, but still, again, with AI, with everything that we see online, we are programmed differently now. So we're invited to deconstruct that. And the Eight of Pentacles is here, which is a card that is connected to Virgo, connected to the Hermit. And this is about showing up, being consistent, to understand that whatever it is that you do on a daily basis, even if the work that you do to pay your bills is not necessarily your favorite thing in the world, you are still collaborating with Spirit. You are still evolving through you showing up, through that dedication. This is something that Virgo teaches us, that again, Hermit energy, Eight of Pentacles energy teaches us. There's no disconnection between your spiritual evolution and the work you do on your 9 to 5. It's all connected. And this is what this card teaches us. So every 8 is connected to a transformation. It's connected to the infinity symbol, which we can see on the Two of Pentacles. Everything that you do has an impact, everything that you say. And it really is about this collective energy and this collaboration. Unfortunately, we cannot save the world as individuals. We can make sure, though, that we treat ourselves with compassion and others with that same compassion, that we show up for our neighbors, for our friends, for the people around us. But in order to do that, we have to show up for ourselves first. We have to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first. And I think that this is a message that we hear a lot, But in 2025, it's going to be essential that we live it. It's not just about knowing it, it's about understanding how essential it is to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first. Okay. What wants to come through? There's still an important message that wants to come up. And we have the Knight of Swords. So again, this message of consistency and intention is so important. And the Knight of Swords reminds us that when we rush, it only creates the illusion that we're moving faster. Again, it's not about quantifying, it's not about rushing. And this is something that came up so many times for me this year, because we live in a society where the grind is so glamorized. It's always about doing more. And I shared this before, but I feel like personally, especially in my early 20s, I felt so valuable as a person because I was constantly drained, because I was working so much. I felt like it was cool and just great that I never had, a day off or time for myself. It was always about doing. But where was the intention? When we are so obsessed with the quantity, are we really intentional? When we are rushing what we do, are we present? Again, always going back to the Hermit here, this card invites us to be present with what is, with the next step ahead, because this is the only thing we have control over. So things are going to be moving really fast in the next few months, few weeks. I think that we're going to be noticing how everything expands and evolves very rapidly. Even if we are a little shocked right now with everything that's happening with AI and all the evolution, this is just the beginning. And to make sure that we are not responding out of fear all the time, we want to be present. So grounding ourselves, finding routines and ways to ground ourselves as much as we can in order to ascend as high as possible. So the more present you are, the more you will accomplish, the more, dare I say, happy you will be. Because when we can identify when our mind is time traveling, because the mind, the ego, nervous system, it loves to time travel. So it will obsess over the future, it will obsess over the past, but it doesn't want you to be present, because when you are present, this is where you can be in tune with your intuition, and you can take leap of faith, and you can trust yourself and trust what is. And again, this message that came through in the beginning, which seems very important, to conceive what is possible, not what have been. So write that somewhere. I feel like this is something that will be very important this year, a practice of writing and journaling. It's a great way to ground, but writing is still connected to air energy, so we can ground something as much as possible, and then the energy is being expressed. It exists, it comes out of us. So we are manifesting something, we are creating something out of just simply being present, which is so connected to the Hermit, Hermit is Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign, but it is air energy. So it really is the connection between the body and the mind, and to find that peace, that balance within the two. Okay. There's another message that wants to come through, and I'm going to pick 3 cards just for that message, which the way I'm sensing it is someone is ready to be present. Someone is trying to practice being more present, but they're having a hard time forgiving someone. Justice, the Magician, and the Devil card. So we have 3 major cards here, which I felt this was a very important message for someone about forgiveness. Forgiveness is when you give up the right to hurt someone back, regardless of what they have done. And I feel like the Justice card represents that beautifully, because with the Justice card, everyone wins. We don't want someone to get hurt, even if our feelings were hurt. So we're letting go of the grip. Again, we are giving up the right to hurt someone back. And justice is Venus. It's connected to pleasure, to our values. And again, it's that earth energy that grounds us. So practicing forgiveness, actively practicing that. And look what we have here. And my dog is barking, saying yes to this. The Magician here has the infinity symbol on top of its head, which says, as within, so without. So really, what you can imagine, what you can actively believe, again, to conceive what is possible really creates it in the reality. So it sounds a little woo-woo. It sounds too good to be true. Even when I say it, I feel like my brain is always like, that sounds too good to be true, but it is the reality. Everything that exists was once an idea, was once just a thought. So remember that. The Magician has all the tools that they need. So when I see this card, I know that whatever you want to do, you could feel like you don't have what it takes. Like it's not the time yet. You don't have all the tools. The timing isn't right. The universe isn't on your side. Sometimes we can compare and feeling like it's so much easier for others. No, you have what it takes. And when we are present, when we are looking at what we have instead of obsessing over what we can have or what we used to have, we can start working with this energy. We're not looking outside of ourselves for validation and to get something. We look within and we create that magic because we are aware of that magic, of this power individually, which again becomes collective, because that magic and that power eventually cannot be contained. It needs to be shared with the world, and it can't really create magic on a larger scale. And of course, the Devil card wanted to show up because I think that it's time that we stop living our life backwards. Devil spelled backwards is lived. So when we identify the chains of the devil, when we're able to say, okay, those are the old beliefs that have been keeping me from accomplishing something, what are the ways that you've been sabotaging yourself? Personally, for me, the Devil card always shines a light on the ways I sabotage myself, I still do it. I'm 35 years old, and trust me, I still do it because of old beliefs, because of sometimes, how I was raised or the stories I tell myself, the old beliefs that echo in my mind. And it is a constant practice of coming back home to myself, into presence, and to remember that's not the truth. My brain might be very loud, but it doesn't mean that it's speaking the truth all the time. So the Devil card says, can you identify the ways which you've been, living backwards here? The Devil card is not evil. It really is about our birthright to experience pleasure, to experience all the things. We just want to make sure that the things that we want don't control us. And this card also invites us to not quantify everything. It's not about how much we have and how much we do. It really is about how aware are you of those chains, So I just want to thank you so much for being here today, for listening to this message. And I know that whoever listened, and especially if you took notes, if there's something that just stuck with you, there was a sign for you here. Number 8 Number 11 and the infinity symbol could be a very important sign for you from your guides. So notice when you see it in the next few days, in the next few hours after listening to this session, and come back into presence. This is what angel numbers are for. They are calling us back into presence so we can see the magic. It's about acknowledging the magic. And the more we do it, the more natural it becomes. And again, eventually this magic cannot be contained, and it creates an amazing reality. I'm sending so much love. Thank you.